it's 5 feet, probably by 3 feet. 2.6. So that desk is 5 feet by 2.6. Let's say you wanted to be able to change the length of it or the depth of it. We have a parameter called, in fact, let me just go over here and review these. We have what we call a linear parameter. It's basically a linear dimension. We have polar. We have array. We have rotation, alignment, flip, if you want it to flip. If you want to modify the visibility, that's kind of like the toilet in the car example, or if you wanted to create a lookup table where you could actually look up different sizes. Now with every parameter, we have to add some type of action. So for example, if I want to stretch this table from 5 feet to 6 feet to 7 feet, I have to add an action to what happens when I click on that grip. And these are the various actions we have. Move, scale, stretch, polar stretch, rotate, and flip. So I could create a block with a desk and a chair and allow you to rotate the chair within the block. Okay. Or it could be a north arrow where you could actually rotate that arrow where you have true north or magnetic north on it. So there's a lot of things we can do. But let's say we wanted to stretch this chair in 5 minutes before lunch. The first thing we have to do is add a parameter. So if you do linear, you need to pick the end point on the side. Don't pick the arcs, but pick the end point of the line. We can add this parameter. When you add it, you get this yellow exclamation point. What that means is there's no action associated with this yet. So for us to create an action, we have to tell AutoCAD, what do we want to do when I click on this grip? Well, this is going to be similar to your exercise. We're going to do a stretch parameter. With stretch, we have to do a couple of things. We have to draw a bounding box, and then we have to select our area that we're going to stretch. So when I do stretch, it says select parameter. I'm going to pick this one. It says specify parameter point. I want to associate it with this arrow, or this point. Now it says specify corner of stretch frame. Here, we're going to draw a frame around the area that we want to stretch. And I definitely want to include the 2 legs. Now inside of that, it says select objects. I want to do a crossing window where I select those. So really what's going to happen when I click on that arrow, the 2 legs are going to move, these lines and arcs are going to move, and then the 2 horizontal lines will be stretched. So I can click on that, hit enter, and you'll notice now I have a stretch option. Now on your parameters, distance 1 doesn't really sound good. It should be like length or width. So over here in parameters, or over here in properties, I could actually change that. So instead of calling it distance 1, I could call it width. And then we could set up some preset values. So I want this to be a list. So I could create a list of correct sizes. I could say 6 feet, or let's do 4 feet. Click on OK. And I only want to stretch from one arrow. I don't really want to stretch from this arrow here. So I'm just going to say I want to show one grip. And then we can go in and save it and test it. So if I save my block, click on the desk, you'll notice I've got one arrow. I can make it 6 feet or 4 feet. And it's the same block. And we'll go back and review all of that after lunch as well. But when you create a dynamic block, you've got to think about what action do you want? Do you want to stretch it? Do you want to array it? One of your exercises, which I like, is a